Hi, Coach Askin, and today guys, I'm here to do another anime review, and this anime review is to Sword Art Online Season 3 guys, Episode 1. Yes guys, Sword Art Online Season 3 is out. So if you guys want to check it out, go right ahead. So, let's get into the review of Episode 1 of Season 3 of SAO. So, in this episode of Sword Art Online, first I need to mention, 47 minutes long. 47 minutes long. Freaking out, that's the longest episode Sword Art Online has. You don't include its movie, you know it's not an episode, but you know. Longest episode that Sword Art Online has, not its longest anime, because it's the OVA, the movie, which makes sense, and the other has movies. But it comes to episodes, this is definitely its longest episode that has so far, which is one thing. And we got a lot already in this episode. First up, the first 23 or 5 minutes was focused in a gaming world, where we now find out in the second half is this world supposed to be like a realistic world, or a world where someone can possibly properly live in this world, because the system that we found out in the second half, Kyoto is using, he's working in the job where he's especially testing a new full dive system, which it seems like after you come out of that game, you forget what happens in the game. All you know is what you got told before you got into the game. This is like, that's what this time of full dive system and this kind of world he was in is. And it's called Underground. I think that's its full name. I might be completely, if there was any other name. Underground Adventures or something like that. I do remember part of its name, or possibly it's only part for its name, is called Underground. And it does seem like, and based on what we got from this world, Kyoto in this game, who we find out he assimilated into this world completely. He forgot his true self. He was someone completely different. He was the Kyoto of this world, this gaming world. And he was quite young in this one as well. And he had two friends, Lisa and also Alice. Elise, I think it said Elisa. I think that's what they said, Elisa, not Alice. But it does sound like this, but I might be completely wrong. It could be just from how the Japanese say it, because I'm not very good at reading names. I personally have to admit that. I'm not very good at saying names. It's more just pronunciation I mostly look for in someone's name. So Elisa, that's what they said she is, but it could be just Alice they're trying to say. But Elisa and Stefan, I think that's how you say his name. I might be completely wrong about his name, but Stefan. He was in this world, he was friends with these two, and at one point, they were talking about going into a cave that connects to an area they're not supposed to go to from their town, the dark territory, the darkness territory, that they can't enter. If they did, they were breaking a taboo, and which we find out in the episode is that they'd be sent to question and executed, just for going into the dark territory, even unintentionally, you can get executed. And that's what we find out during the point when they go to a cave to gather ice, because they wanted to decide to make sure their food is staying good, because in the virtual world, if they gain too much heat, or the food goes into too much heat, they will die quite quickly. And obviously, by using and we found out in the colder months, they actually get preserved a lot longer than they do when it's in a hotter time. So they went to a cave where a white dragon that surprisingly is known for ice and stuff was living in, and they got to find out, but obviously they know the dragon was not really dangerous in some way, or something like that. It wasn't really to be they didn't feel like they were running into that dragon. So obviously they would go into the cave to gather some ice. On the way, they do actually find the dragon, but that dragon was dead with all the gold and stuff in the cave they were in. And obviously, obviously they found a sword that was left there that the legendary knight that was said in the legend about this white dragon supposed to have trying to get, but obviously they didn't succeed and they ran away from it, the dragon, and obviously didn't collect the sword. But from this point, they obviously didn't want to gather any ice or anything, so they decided to. They didn't any treasures that were left behind, so they decided to grab the ice. But the thing is, as they were kids, their sense of direction is not too good, because right now they're very young kids. Their minds are set as kids, including Kirito himself. Kirito is now in his kid-like state, like he was when he was in the real world. So that was something we need to be aware of. And obviously they didn't know where they were coming from, which direction it came from. So once they saw, they chose, in a way, a random exit. The problem was that that exit end up leading to the dark territory, which they're forbidden to go into. Now, along this, they see two knights, one black knight and one white knight. The white knight is actually supposed to be their side, and the dark knight is supposed to be this black knight is supposed to be part of the darkness side. And once they see this battle, they were like somewhat mesmerized and like scared, so shocked seeing this battle going on right now. Because I don't know, I feel like they are aware that there's a battle going on, but anyway, and again they're not. But again, they're kids, so they're obviously not going to be fully aware of what's going on. But once they saw the Black Knight falling down after getting shot by an arrow by this knight, unfortunately, he was getting his hand out, like somewhat slightly begging for their life. But by doing that, Alice unconsciously starts walking nearly to the entrance of the Dark Territory. But suddenly, Kirito snapped her out of it. They suddenly snapped her out of this delusional state she was in. But by doing that, she ends up falling over. Now, at first it looks like she was safe. But then, you notice her fingertips. Once she lands on the ground, only her fingertips, left outside the cave, into the Dark Territory. She, unfortunately, just from her freaking fingertips, she was classified as entering the Dark Territory. Because of that, what we see at the end of the first part of the episode, she gets taken away by force and declared she's going to get interrogated and executed for just little fingers being out of the freaking territory just for that. Like, that is quite strict. Like, actually, even with countries that still have executions, I don't believe they're ever going to be that strict. A child, just be accidentally having a fingertip in a certain territory, but that's not supposed to go in. I don't think they're going to be that strict. Like, even in the real world, I don't believe they're going to be that strict. Maybe back in some form of, like, Middle Ages time, but I feel like even at that point, humans, including the ones that still have not fully evolved properly, or, haven't really educated themselves properly. Like, like people who still live in tribes, people who still live isolated places in the world. I think at least evolved to understand that children are not intelligent enough to fully understand what the fuck is going on. And because they don't understand, they should at least give them some form of leeway or understanding. If it ends up being quite violent, not to the point of death, obviously. I don't believe they will put them into the point of death. If there is a tribe out there, or if there is a set of humanity or a country that does treat children like that, who just execute them because they left a certain territory, I would like to know which country that is, and I would want to know why the fuck has not that country at least been invaded by a country with a freaking understanding. I don't think North Korea is that strict. Yeah, I don't think North Korea is that strict. Even if it have it hierarchy, I don't think they're that strict. I know they will execute children But that's usually for more of extreme things than just accidentally entering a territory that it should not be in, even just by a few fingertips. I don't think they're that strict. I have not heard if they're that strict. If they are, then okay, now we know that North Korea is one of those freaking countries. But I don't know. I don't know. Unless people know any information of how the law of just entering a certain territory when you're a freaking kid works, I would like to know. But that is something I'm like shocked. Like, yeah, that's strict. That's strict. Like, whoa. Like, again, like I said, I don't feel like any human, like, no matter how intelligent, no matter how diverse, not how where you are in the world, how far technology-wise, intelligence-wise, how isolated you are in the world. I don't think, like, a human society, an individual human can think that way, but individual societies would be a lot different, and I don't believe they're going to be that straight. That's something that gets me wondering right now. Sorry, it's going off the anime, but I'm just thinking, that's quite strict, and very, very out of the unusual what I would expect for a punishment for a kid. Like, I was expecting maybe for them to be arrested and maybe tortured. That was the extreme I can see. Tortured, not death. Tortured, but no, death. I don't think, like, I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. Even though I feel like again, I somewhat understand. I just feel like, yeah, that's a bit. Yeah, let's mention that there. I'm just a bit iffy about that. But anyway, let's get back to the rest of the episode. So after that part, obviously, we get Kirito back in his world. And he wakes up from this one, and this is when, wakes up from the virtual game he is. And then after that part he wakes up, he gets into GGO, he gets into Gungo Online. That's what he gets into. And we found out Gungo Online, we found Asuna and the rest of his group actually helping Sinon in a battle against PvP, trying to get PvP players against some PvP players, trying to kill them, and in the game, for obviously getting money, trying to gain money from them, from all prizes. Now we do find out that one person part of this enemy team they're fighting, this person is definitely the other Death Gun that was still on the run, because you can tell how the red eye popped up. He's definitely at least connected to Death Gun or Laughing Coughing in general when we see that. And obviously we do see the guy who, at the end of the episode, we do I'll get to that point later, but we see this guy after they logging out, he put his head up and then red eye pops up, and that's identification that he's at least part of Laughing Coughing. This guy could be part of Laughing Coughing. Now we do actually get a reveal of who the Laughing Coughing, the possible Death Gun is, the next Death Gun is. We do find out who he is. I'm not going to tell you until we get to that part, but we do find out who he is, but we don't know if this is the same guy or a different person who again is connected to the Death Gun and so / Laughing Coughing. So at least we can at least narrow it down. Could it be this guy or not? I don't know. So after we've seen, and they do mention this is only to prepare for us for the actual thing that's going on. Now after this, we see Sinon going to ask to talk about, do you want to help me out in the next BBO tournament? And obviously, and then obviously she says, okay, I'm going to think about it, and leaves. With Kirito, right now who's in the daze in a sleep-like formation, he didn't know what was going on. He knows everybody logged out. He's like, oh crap, I need to log out as well. So he just like wakes up from a delusional state he was in, like he was tired. He didn't know everybody was logged out until that point, and then he was like, oh, I need to log out, and he logs out. Now at the end, at this point, he meets with Sinon in the real world at I'm trying to get his name, but oh man, what is his name? Do you know? I can't remember his name. But you know, big black dude. I'm sorry, not very good with names. But you know him. They're at his bar, his restaurant or cafe bar. I think it's a bar. So they met at his bar, and he talks to Xenon about the next BBO tournament, and obviously he agrees to be part of the BBO tournament as well. And then soon later, Arsena comes in, and they start talking about Xenon asks her to help as well, and they go into conversation about Kyoto's new job, and this is when we find out he's working in this secret new dive system that the government is obviously going to be involved in, which is which they found a bit sketchy. And then he tells them about how this virtual game works, how he can't remember what is going on in the game. Because, again, I said, this is a full dive system that it looks like to be based more realistically, and making this more like a realistic world. You can only remember what's in this world because you're not right now living in that world. You're not that person anymore. It's a completely different person. It's no longer you. This is a completely different person. That's how this world is sort of like. So that's what this was sort of like. And they discuss how this works and how it's connected to Alice in Wonderland. That's one of the things I sort of have connections to, which is something Alice in Wonderland. Something connected to Alice in Wonderland. I've just been wondering between those two stories. They connect that to Alice in Wonderland, which is something interesting to know. Now, afterwards, after they leave the bar, Xenon and Kyoto and Arsena go their separate ways, along with Kyoto and Arsena going together. And while going together, we find out Kyoto is planning on going over to America for taking it to research more on full dive system, which we find out America has more advanced technology learning about this, which is, okay, interesting. America's ahead in full dive technology in Sword Art Online universe, so that's something to know about. Which makes sense, but yet again, right now, Japan is ahead of technology right now in our world. So, games, I believe America has been doing well in. But technology-wise, Japan is definitely beating most of us in the world. Instantly outbeating us in most of the world. We have to accept that, technology-wise. But they do say America is doing well in the full dive system, and obviously he wants Arsena to come with him, and Arsena accepts. So they're planning on going to America. But then during when they're walking home, suddenly a man that's been tailing them shows up, and this is the guy who ends up being the other Death Gun. And once Arsena and Kyoto realize that, Kyoto pushes Arsena aside, and when the guy who is supposed to be this the other Death Gun guy, brings out the poison that he used to kill their victims out, Kyoto prepares his umbrella because he has his umbrella as a sword, and then tries to defend himself or attack him who's about to attack him and attack Kyoto. And unfortunately for both Kyoto and this guy, they both collided. Both with Kyoto stabbing his umbrella into his freaking leg, which, oh god, that was, whoa, just seeing that getting stabbed into his leg, that was, ooh. But then Kyoto, unfortunately, the poison, or at least the poison gun that he had, injector, stabs into Kyoto. Now, I don't know if it was one stab. There was one stabbing motion side. It could be just two stabs colliding together, but it does sound like two stabs were there. Two stabs, possibly two stabs, or one stab was heard. And I don't know if it's actually the actual poison that stabbed Kyoto or not, but obviously we definitely know he's not going to die, because he's the main character, and we definitely know he has importance in this series, so obviously he's not going to die from this. But we do know Kyoto got hit by this poison. He got hit by this poison. Possibly got hit. So there's two things that can happen. One, he somehow survives. Second, as we definitely know he's not going to die, there's a possibility that the dive system he's going to be in is going to be what's going to make sure he's kept alive, and make sure the poison is not going to affect him to the point of death straight away. So that's what I feel like this is going to happen right now. He survives somehow, naturally, normally, either the poison just misses him, or they get him to the doctors in time before the poison has effect, or that he goes into this dive system to make sure he stays alive as well. So that's the two possible things we gonna see happening in this point. So, and then the episode just ends like that. The episode just ends like that. We don't know if Kirito's gonna survive or not, which that'd be like goddamn cliffhanger. But again, we also know that Kirito is at least going to survive. That's all things we can at least say. Kirito's going to survive. Kirito is definitely going to survive. But we don't know how and why the fuck they put that shock value in. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Animation quality. Animation looked good. Decent. Normal Sword Online animation looked decent. Nothing spectacular we saw from Sword Online. Looked decent. Normal A1 picture details. Yeah, that's nothing else I can say. Hey guys, that's my anime review to Sword Art Online Season 3, Episode 1, or SAO 3, Episode 1. Hope you guys are good. Go check fans stay. If you guys, since it's female, go in the description down below. My address there, and also guys, if you want to help me on Patreon, my Patreon's down there as well. And also there guys, if you want to help me on if you want to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Anime Me Know, these are searches you must do. On Facebook and Anime Me Know, just search Call Travis, the same name as my channel. And also guys, if you want to follow on Instagram, it's just at Call Travis 1998. Anyway guys, I hope you guys like it, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys!